we're back. So my mother Franca is going to be showing us a recipe. I will have her take the lead and I will learn alongside with you. So what are we baking today?
So today we'll be making scartellate. Sometimes my mother would call them rosette, but really they're known as scartellate, or in our dialect, scartellate. You know, we always have to like ruin the word a little bit. So this is a baking good that we would use only during the Christmas holidays. And here we're going to start. So it was basically a flour. I've sifted 5 cups of flour and 1 cup on the side because we'll need that after sometimes to flour the board as we're going along kneading the dough. I have 8 large eggs, 1/4 teaspoon of regular salt, a tablespoon of baking powder.
Teaspoon.
Oh, sorry, thank you for correcting me. 3/4 cups of sugar and 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, or you can use canola oil or corn oil. So
Or avocado oil.
Avocado oil is good too, but not olive oil. So we would traditionally do the well. I'm going to show you. So on top of the dough, we're going to sprinkle the little bit of salt. Try to even it out all the way around. Now we go with the baking powder, same concept. Okay, so now at this point, I'm adding in the sugar. And the vegetable oil, and we're gonna do this till it's well incorporated. So we're just going to gradually pour in the wet mixture into the flour, bit at a time. Stop. And with the tips of your finger, you're just going to take the flour from the edge and move it in to the wet mixture. And try to start working it bit by bit.
Some people also use a fork sometimes just to push it through, right? I would say sometimes do it with your hands or sometimes a fork.
But the hands are the best tool for this.
You want to do this gradually because if not, you're going to end up with eggs running everywhere in case you break the well. So you want to make sure that you're always taking from the inside. Correct?
Yeah, you start working from the inside out.
But can you also do this in a hand mixer?
Oh, definitely. The stand-up mixers are great with this. I'm just showing you the old-fashioned way that the generation before us would use. Obviously, they didn't have stand-up mixers, so everything was done by hand. It's good always to have an extra hand in the kitchen. If you feel that the egg starts to run out of the well, if you want, the flour well, just combine it, tighten it. Sometimes you have to guide it along with your hands.
Where are you going to be getting along? If I would think of my grandmother, I would think of what she would make would be her soft and chewy homemade tamales, which we've already showcased on this channel. And these guaranteed are a staple. Also optional, just to say we didn't do it in this recipe, but optional, you can also add something else to this, correct?
Yes, you could add like an ounce of liquor. You could add sambuca or anisette. Or my mother, sometimes she would add also, I don't know if you remember, the alcohol La Strega. It was in a long, narrow bottle with like a tree branch inside that had more of a lemony flavor. My father used to do that homemade, well, back in the day when they could. Okay, there we go. Add on the rest.
All of it?
Yeah. Let's see where we go. Maybe 2 shots. See, like it's running out, so just grab some flour and bring it back in. There we go. just try to collect it.
At this point, it looks pretty manageable. Down to the last bit.
I'm going to make a little hole right here, just add in the rest. And that is why you have an extra cup here on the side. That is your savior. Just keep on adding just a little bit of a flour at a time. And now we're going to start kneading. You need to work at this dough. You need to knead the dough if you want for about a good 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. Nancy, can you give me some flour? Just put it on my hands.
Try to keep your hands well floured so that you can
Roll
knead the dough as well. She's going to rub her there.
Well, I'm going to take off all this dough so I can continue to knead it properly. Any more?
Our hands are washed.
Oh, definitely. Always. Washed and no rings.
So we have a good, hold on, let me do my second part of the job as holding the board. It's yes, there's measurements for the amount of flour and about a cup's worth is reserved, but that's I want to say un à peu près. You're going to be going with, again, touch and feel of the dough. So when baking, yes, it's like a science with specifics, but when doing doughs with the flour, I find at the end that last little bit, you really got to go with the feel of the dough. If it needs a little bit more, a little bit less.
And this is another dough that kind of has to feel like a pasta dough. Not too hard, not too soft. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to go wash my hands and I'll be back with a bench scraper and I'm going to continue.
See you soon. So they've both been lightly oiled, patted all over, placed into a bowl, and now starting wrapped. And it's not an Italian recipe unless you cover your pastry dough with Italian cloth.
Exactly.
We're cooking them up beans.
Yeah, we're going to put like a big tablecloth and they're going to rest for about an hour. The reason why we oil it like a little bit is so it will be easier for us to roll out and it doesn't stick to the plastic wrap. So here we go.
Hold on, I need to ask her which one's appropriate to show on camera.
Oh my goodness. I know. Yeah, that was good. That's perfect.
I figured the gold.
I'm dying. Okay.
So gonna get it.
So here, we'll just put it on the little table here on the side and we're going to cover it up. And in the meantime, we're going to clean up while the dough's resting for an hour. See you soon.
So the dough rested
for an hour.
Okay.
So now it's ready to be rolled out as usual. Floured your surface.
We're going to be using again our pinwheel cutter, like a pasta cutter or a pastry cutter. It's going to be doing nice little edges, but first my mother will roll out the dough.
Actually, we used to call that spurlono. Yeah, a spurlono in English means spur because it does look like the spurs of a cowboy's boots.
Yeah.
So.
And it has
the ridges. Yeah, exactly.
So it's not Chuck Norris coming.
It's us baking. Okay. There you go. You see how easy it is now to spread. I give it. There you go. I just help it along a little bit with my hands, press it down. My mother used to use like this big long wood and it looked like the end of like a broomstick. And she would take and she would wrap it and she would just like slap it and I just hear her like on the tumbanya as we call it, the kneading board. and it would just go plop, 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 and then she'd extend it one way and then start this way and plop, 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 and extend it the other way. I mean, she was a master at it. So I grew up with a rolling pin, so I roll.
You know, I'm loving to document what we know or what we've done to commemorate, and also just to put video to recipes, because it's eternally out there forever for generations to come. For my nephews or my niece to see online if ever they want to see, or just to share recipes a lot more easier and visually to see. But I wish I had the cameras back then to be able to easily have caught these moments.
That's why it's important to continue with traditions. We have it in our memories and we're documenting it now. All those wonderful recipes that we've all been taught by so many generations before us. And just look how easy this dough just follows you. You don't have to put hardly any effort in it. Just to mention again, we're doing the Scartellate. My mother, sometimes she would call them rosette, because when they were working in factories, I mean, they would exchange recipes with other women, and they came from so many other regions of Italy. So for my mother to explain what a Scartellate was, because after you'll see when we put it together, when we twirl it, it looks like a rose that's fully bloomed, if you want, you know? So. Some people also would call it la corona, like a crown. And there we go. All right. So you cut like about 1.5 inches, I would say. Tips we always take out. We put this aside. We do not throw. They taught us never to throw anything. Never.
This, I'm going to insert a comment. This would be what the kids would play with. So we could have made our own little imaginary, I'm going to make a pirate ship, like, out of all this. So kids would be like, hey, you give it this, goes, here's the scraps, and the kids would come up with, I don't know what shape we thought we were making, but it was the best. And then we always wanted to see, where's mine, where's the one I made? So those starter ones usually came to us.
So you'd start like about, I don't know, I would say like 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and you would take both ends of the dough and pinch it. And try to pinch it properly, because you don't want it to open when you're frying it. There we go. Now we take the end and we try to pinch it in like this.
Pinching good enough so that the dough sticks together, so that it doesn't open, because we will be frying this in a neutral oil over the stove top.
This is it. So as you can see, it looks like also like the top of a rose. And these are our Scartellate, or in our village, the Scartellate.
So we're going to be placing them on just a tray, and then putting a tea towel over top so that they don't dry until we continue the process of these. We will speed up along, get all of these done, and then we will bring it to the stove top when it is ready
To start frying.
fry.
Okay, so I put in a test piece because we never worked with a thermometer. We would just take a little piece of dough and test the oil. Once we see that the dough starts to rise, that means that the oil is almost ready, and we're going to start frying in a few seconds. There we go, you hear the sizzle. And you see that the oil is nice and glistening.
And now my mother would do the sign of the cross to make sure.
Yes, I always do the sign of the cross to make sure that they don't open. And don't overcrowd them. Give them room to cook properly, fry properly. And there we go. In this pan, 3, max 4, but I'm gonna go with 3.
Once they rise to the top, you're basically just then watching for a light golden.
Exactly.
And then you'll be placing them to dry. And you continue the process until they're all fried.
Exactly. First, don't forget to turn them over. Once they're golden brown at the bottom, flip them. Sometimes you have to adjust the temperature of your oil as you're going along also. You don't want them to burn. There you go. This one's good to go.
So as you can see, we have dressed them with a drizzle of honey and coarsely chopped walnuts on top. And my mother has something to say about the dressing of these. When should we dress them?
Well, we always, when you put them away in a container, no dressing on them, because if not, the honey and everything is all going to stick. So when your guests come over, just take out the amount that you need and you drizzle them and you dress them up when your guests have arrived with honey and original or walnuts, and this is how we used to do it.
They look delicious, and I can say they are delicious. These go so fast. Christmas time, holiday times, whenever we see this on the plate, they always end up on people's plates and no longer on the serving dish. They are delicious. Nice and crispy, sticky, chewy.
Once you see these on the table,
So good.
you know that it's Christmas. The
So
holidays
good.
are here.
So you see how beautiful they crisp up and that they hold together. So it was all the pinching, and every time we turned, we always pinched interloop and really making sure you pinch. If not, it will fall apart. Some do, it's okay, they still taste good. And don't forget, we still have those little extra pieces of scraps that you still fry up. They still taste delicious. But this is another one of the classics that my grandmother would make. And we are honoring her today and having shared this recipe with you. And thanks to my mother for sharing this as well. Stay tuned, because the next recipe that will be coming up on this channel next will be a part 2 take on the same type of dough but a different type of filling.
Exactly.
Until then, we hope you enjoyed this recipe.
Definitely. These are old traditional ones, and I hope you continue to make them to honor all the women, grandmothers, sisters, everybody in front of us who have taught us these. So I hope you'll be making this recipe soon. Continue the tradition, and please continue to love what you eat.
Love what you eat.
À la prochaine.
Arrivederci.